Hey everyone, so tonight we're going to make a pumpkin pie a la easy is what it's called. And we're going to be using our Brilliance 8-inch square pan. Well, we're going to be using a lot of things really, but this is what we're going to be baking it in. I love my Brilliance cookware. It's non-stick. They say you don't have to spray it with anything. Most of the time I do. I'm going to try not doing it tonight and we'll see what happens. So basically I've got a few things measured out here. There's a few things I'll have to measure as I go. I've got my oven preheating to 325. We're going to take some pecans here. I just get the big bag at Sam's because we go through them this time of year. And I figure it's almost Thanksgiving. It's time to do fall type stuff. So we are going to do about 1/4 of a cup here. And at this point, I'm going to bring you over here to the electric twisted top. Love this thing. So everything goes to the left. It goes clockwise. And I'm just going to measure out about 1/4 a cup. Maybe a little, I don't care that it's overflowing a little bit. Because when they're chopped down, I want them to still be about 1/4 of a cup. Seal those back up. And then we're just going to pulse these right after I plug them in. Now if you use the other side, it just constantly runs. And the good thing, you can see the blade goes up and down. So nothing is not going to get chopped. I mean, it is all going to get chopped. Let me just move this here. So now I'm going to use our baking bowls, mixing bowls. These are plastic. They have a rubber non-stick skid thing on the bottom. Come in large, medium, and small. And see, they don't really move hardly. Checking to make sure there isn't nothing, everything's clean here. So we are going to put our 2/3 cup all-purpose flour going in. 1/3 cup of old-fashioned oats going in. And I almost thought about putting them in with the nuts and process them. If you didn't want big chunks of oatmeal, you could do that for sure. What was our pecans? 1/4 of a cup. Just gonna measure and see. We have the nice little spout here on the side. That makes it nice for, I should have took that out. For measuring things. Okay, got a little bit of extra there. I was afraid when it's pulsed and chopped down, it wouldn't be 1/3 a cup anymore. Butter. So that brings me to our silicone measuring bowls. So this big one, they nest inside of each other. It comes in a set of 3. And this one is 1 cup. This one is 2 cup. And I believe this one is 4 cups. Yeah, I think the last measurement there is 3. So if you go on up, it's going to be 4. I'm not going to need that, but I am going to use this small one because it also has a nice little pour spout. But the good thing is you can prep food in these and then you have your lid that you can put them in the fridge and keep them for later. So I'm going to put, this is 1/3 cup of butter. I already found the little line on the side and cut that off. I'm going to put this in and put it in our microwave to melt. See what happens with 30 seconds there. And I'm want to get my whisk tongs. These are really great when you do boiled eggs because they open up and you can actually use them to get stuff out with. But you can also keep them closed and just use them as a whisk. And we're waiting on while we're waiting on the butter, I'm going to go ahead and open up a sweetened condensed milk. And this is our smooth edge can opener. You just want to fit in between here and here on the side of this, and then turn it. And it'll go all the way around. When you feel it not be so tight, it's probably went all the way around. You just reverse it, and that lifts it off. And then we have this little beak here. I just want to lift up, and there we go. Now, the thing about the reason it's called smooth edge is because this leaves this smooth. It's not going to cut you through here. Condensed milk off my finger. That's perfect. I'm just gonna let that cool a second while I go ahead and open up my pumpkin. Now, so I have a bigger can of pumpkin, and this is pure pumpkin. It's not the pumpkin pie mix. I don't know if you've ever paid attention in the store. I didn't realize they made two different kinds. But I used to go grocery shopping for my mother-in-law, and she would ask me to get the pumpkin pie filling. I said, "What do you mean pumpkin pie filling? Don't you have to make it into pumpkin pie filling?" She said, "No, they make it already mixed together." I said, "Oh, well, I didn't know that." So I had to pay attention to what I was getting for her because I thought it was just all canned pumpkin. So here we have the solid pumpkin. It is about that side there that wants to be a little contrary. Anyway, so this is a bigger can that I got at Sam's. It says it's 29 ounces, and we're going to need a 15-ounce can. So I'm going to take my other one here, and I'm actually going to, so I'm thinking at 15 ounces, that's right below 16 ounces. 16 ounces is 2 cups. So I'm just going to measure out the 2 cups in here. We should be golden. That's my kind of girl math. And then I think what I'm going to do, since I'm going to have this leftover pumpkin, is what I don't use in this recipe. I'm just going to put all the rest of this in here and pop the lid on it and put it in the fridge to save. That way I don't have to mess up another container finding somewhere for my pumpkin. Okay. So now we're gonna just kind of whisk this together with our whisk tongs. And we're gonna add our melted butter. And you know what? I did not add, one more thing I was supposed to add is brown sugar into this. I've got my measuring cup out for it. 1/4 a cup, just like the pecans. Here's 1/4 a cup of packed. And these are our easy read measuring cups. They're clear and it's printed in black so you can see really well exactly what you're measuring in. I used to have a set of another brand. Let's just say that. They were white and gray speckled, and it was etched into it. And I was forever holding it up and looking, trying to see what that was saying. So I like these much better. Double checking behind me, making sure none of that brown sugar went into the mix. But no, I guess the sweetened condensed milk is what's actually going to sweeten our... Yeah, I think that looks better. Okay, so at this point, we're just going to put our crust right in here. And I may reuse that bowl, but I'm going to use the bottom of this just to sort of press this in. And I don't think I want it pressed in real tight. I have done things like the Oreo cookie dessert where you press it in real tight with the melted butter and stuff, and it ends up being solid at the bottom and it's hard to get it out. So I'm just going to push this along. I do want it somewhat to be like a cookie crust, but alrighty, looks like this. So this is going to go in the oven, bake for 15 minutes. And I guess it just came to temp, so that was perfect. Okay. There we go, it's counting down. I thought, why is it not counting down? Okay, so we are now going to add our eggs and beat them. And I had them sitting out getting room temperature. Save those for our compost bowl, which I do have, just not in sight. Okay. Got just a little bit of shell in there. So I'm just going to use part of this eggshell. The eggshell actually works as a magnet, and it attracts to the other part of the eggshell, and it'll pull that right up. Alrighty. And I think it's easier to beat eggs if you just sort of stab at them and break that yolk up. Alright. Here goes our pumpkin. I'm going to put our sweetened condensed milk, the whole can of, this is a 14-ounce can, which I don't think I've ever seen sweetened condensed milk come in another size, come to think of it. Evaporated milk comes in 2 sizes, but I don't know that this does. Okay, I'm going to switch out here and grab, so I'll grab this. Okay. Wasn't sure if it would fit in this can. This is our mix and scrape, and I already used my mini one earlier, so it was dirty. This is actually one of the products that I use all the time that I could actually probably have double of, and it would be fine. That way it would always be one clean for me. Okay, so we got our pumpkin, we got our egg, we got our sweet condensed milk, pumpkin pie spice, and salt. Pumpkin pie spice, I don't even buy anymore. I just use our cinnamon plus. It's got cinnamon and it's got pumpkin pie spice. Has a little bit of orange. I'm not sure exactly what all is in it, but it tastes really good. Now, the thing about the pumpkin pie spice, we only, that's a tablespoon. Here's my teaspoon. We only get this around the holidays. So if you want it go ahead and get it in your order. We have this, we have the cinnamon, we have the bourbon infused vanilla. Trying to think what else. We have quite a few of those that are limited time only, but they always bring back the cinnamon, cinnamon plus, and the vanilla every year. So we're gonna do 2 teaspoons of this. 1, 2, and we're gonna do about a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. I didn't get my 1/2 teaspoon measure out because I wanted to not dirty up another measuring spoon. So we're just gonna do 1/2 of this teaspoon. That should be about accurate. So we're going to whisk this together. Okay, I think that looks pretty good there. It's all ready to go as soon as our crust is ready. So I'm just gonna sit this right back here. Okay, so when that comes out, we're gonna fill that in there and we're gonna bake it for 45 to 50 minutes or until a knife inserted in the center comes clean, and you're gonna let it set for room temperature. So, we got about 9 minutes. While that's going, I'm going to show you one other thing. This is our whipped cream maker. I don't know if you've seen this before or not, but you can make whipped cream in this. I'm going to get out our heavy cream. This is a flexible cutting mat. I'm not really going to be all that messy, but I am going to show you something with this. So what we're going to do with this whipped cream maker, it comes with the lid that goes on the 2 sides. So after you make your whipped cream, you can actually store it in the refrigerator. So you have this little plunger gadget, and this top part will come off, but we're not going to need it to come off right now. There is a line here in this cup. We are going to pour our heavy cream to there. And you don't want to pour it over that, because as you pump this, it's going to expand to make your whipped cream, and it needs to have the room to expand. Now, while I have my tablespoon measure, we are going to put some powdered sugar in this. And I believe the recipe just calls for 1 tablespoon. I remember thinking I wanted it a little sweeter, so I'm going to do 2. That's just my preference. You can do it how you like. You could also make flavored vanillas with this. You could put a little cinnamon in here. I'm not going to do that because I think that would be overkill with the cinnamon and the pumpkin. You could put a little bit of extract, peppermint extract, vanilla extract. You maybe could put a little chocolate in if you want chocolate whipped cream. I would say like the Nestle Quick. You could get the chocolate or the strawberry and put maybe a teaspoon or so in. Okay. So I am just going to hold this up where I can get to it here. Am I doing the wrong side maybe? Yes, there's an arrow down here. Okay. Let's put that back on there. That's what happens when Amy doesn't pay attention to what she's doing. Now, here we go. And I'm not going to tell you any certain amount of time for pumping this, but you're just going to do it until it starts to feel heavy. I'm wondering, actually maybe I do want to take that one pad thing off. I've only used this a couple of times, so I'll get it straight in just a second here. So we had one of these whipped cream makers. Yes, that's gonna pump better. That all it did was make whipped cream. This one actually has a decorator attachment, which is why I got the mat out. Once I get this pumped, here we go. When you turn it, you want to line these two arrows up here. And you can see it's pumping pretty good. I'm just going up and down fairly easy with it. As it starts to make whipped cream, it's going to be a little harder for me to pump this down. It's going to get thicker. And you do want to churn it to a thick consistency, but you don't want to over churn it to where it's almost like butter. And that's where sometimes I'm not real sure where the stopping point is, but I do know I want it thick enough that if I put the decorator attachment, I want it to be able to, I don't want to try to pipe a rosette out and then it just fall flat and melt. I want it to be able to stay sturdy. I'm thinking the directions say about 15 to 20 seconds. It feels like it's wanting to be a little harder to pump. Keep going here. Just double check here in a second. Oh, just pump 30 seconds. Okay, so I should have this pump pretty good that it's thick. All right. So I'm just going to turn this upside down here. Let's see if I can get this side to open. My hands are wet now from where I opened it the other time. There we go. You can see it's already made whipped cream. So I'm just going to screw this on here. And I'm going to lift this up and pump this down. Yeah, see that made just like a little dollop. I actually wanted a little thicker than that. So 30 seconds doesn't quite give you a defined, but just for putting on pie, that would probably be okay. Let's see what we got. Oh yeah, that's a lot thicker. Tastes better with that extra little bit of sugar too. Okay. Well, You see how it's got more of a ridge in it now? I think that'll look cuter. So what I'm gonna do at the moment, I am probably not gonna pipe rosettes out. I just wanted to show you how this worked and that you can make whipped cream with it. I'm gonna close it back up and wipe it down. And I'm just gonna put this in the fridge because we still have to bake the pie and the crust hasn't even finished yet. Should be getting close though. 40 seconds. Okay. But I really do love this whipped cream maker and decorator because I can store it, make it, and everything all in the same container. Well, there we go. I wonder it didn't want to come out very good. I had a lot of whipped cream in there. Just packed. Okay, I hear you. Gonna get my oven mitts here and just take this out. These are another new item Pampered Chef came out with this fall. And it actually has a nice little, I don't know if this is what you would call rubber, but a little place here along the finger and the thumb so you won't burn your hands. And it well covers past the wrist, so. Okay. So we're just gonna pour this in. Push this into the corners a little bit there. Alrighty. And I'm gonna pop this in and set it for 45 to 50 minutes. Now I'm not gonna stand here and talk for 45 minutes, but I will try to include a picture with this whenever I get it done, okay guys? So once this comes out, you just wanna cut it in squares and serve it with your whipped cream. You can either do your nice little decorated dollops or you can just spoon it out. Alrighty, have a good evening. Good night.